Hello, good afternoon. We're in a new week, and I'm back to making a recording for yet another song from the album Auberge, the Deluxe Edition. This is disc 1. The name of the artist, by now you know, is Chris Rea. Now, it so happened that when I was preparing to make this video, I didn't go through some extensive preparation. I was just listening to the song, and in connection with that, I came across some information about the album cover. And I have a couple of sources, and one of them is the Wikipedia. So I'm going to read to you what I found out. So, number one. Every Second Counts is, the song was produced in the year 1991. Of course, the name of the album is Auberge. And as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, Auberge is a French word, and it means in, I-N-N. So this is the 11th studio album by Chris Rea. It was released in 1991. Now, about the cover. You remember I asked once if someone could identify the sports car that's on the cover. And I had a couple of thoughts, but I was not right. Although I'd seen this model before. So what is it? It's the Caterham Super 7. And Chris Rea owned one of these cars. And I came to find out he called it the Blue 7. Now on the album cover, there is a painting. The name of the artist who made that painting, that oil painting, is Alan Fernley. This album, Auberge, it was a number one album in the UK in 1991. That's about the album and the cover. Now, let's know a little bit more about Caterham 7. This is from the Wikipedia source. And then I'll get into the lyrics and the song. So, from the Wikipedia page, what I learned is the Caterham 7 is a super lightweight sports car produced by Caterham Cars in the United Kingdom. It is based on the Lotus 7, a lightweight sports car sold in kit and factory-built form by Lotus Cars from 1957 to 1972. After 1972, Caterham Cars started to produce this. So, again, reading from the Wikipedia page. After Lotus ended production of the Lotus 7, Caterham bought the rights to the design, and today make both kits and fully assembled cars. The modern Caterham 7 is based on the Series 3 Lotus 7, though developed to the point that no part is the same as on the original Lotus. So, very interesting history even of the car. As I was reading down on the page, on the Wikipedia page, and I actually will leave the link to that page so you can read more about it. There's something interesting I came across, and in just a moment I'll tell you. Yes. On the Wikipedia page, under the subheading Racing, and there's a picture of a blue Caterham 7 in that section. It says, the Lotus 7 was conceived by Chapman as a car to be raced. Whilst still a prototype, in September 1957, it was raced at the Brighton Speed Trials. And by the end of 1958, Graham Hill was winning races with the Coventry Climax engined Super 7. The car has had a strong racing history throughout its life under both Lotus and Caterham stewardship. Amongst the Marquet's more famous races was victory in Nelson Ledge's 24-hour race in Ohio, when, against a field including works teams from Honda and Mazda, a four-man team from Caterham, including both Jez Coates and Robert Nern, won by 7 laps after 990 laps in a modified Vauxhall HPC. I'm not familiar with all those terms, but the interesting part is, if you look under that subheading, it says the car was banned from racing in the US in the 1960s as being too fast to race. It says a citation is needed. And again in the UK in the 1970s, and Wikipedia says a citation is needed for the same reasons which prompted Caterham Cars to boss Graham Nern to produce t-shirts with Caterham 7, the car that's too fast to race. Both bans were later lifted. So I haven't looked into the history, but it says citation needed. Maybe it's true. I don't know. Again, reading on the Wikipedia page, and I'm almost 6 minutes into the video, more than 6 minutes. In 2002, an R400 won its class and came 11th overall out of 200 starters. Nürburgring 24-hour race by 10 laps ahead of the competition that included Porsche and BMW race cars, leading once again to a ban on entry in subsequent years. So this car, the Caterham 7, of course I've seen it in movies and all, but I never looked at the history of it. And today I know more about it. I'm glad I looked into it. And Chris Rea had one of these cars. He called it the Blue 7. Now that we've gone through the history of Caterham 7, the car and the cover, let's take a look at the lyrics. And the name of the song is Every Second Counts. You can understand the inspiration behind this song. So it begins this way. Every second counts. That's what he says. Every second counts. Every single day. All through the nighttime, all through the daytime. Can't let your world pass through and into my way. Very much inspired by the Caterham 7. Every second counts. He can't slow down. Every second counts. See him spin around. He's chasing his shadow. He's racing the wind. He tells us to follow where the ice is so thin. Now, if there's symbolism in it, you can understand that from the mind of the driver of the Caterham 7. A man who is absolutely, passionately focused on winning, getting the best out of his car. He knows he has the best machine there can be in his possession, and he wants to do his best. And there is no competition. He knows there's nothing that can compete with him. So he's chasing his own shadow. He's racing the wind. He's willing to be challenged by impossible challenges. There's no way he can defeat the shadow. There's no way he can defeat the wind. But that is what he's competing against. The end of the song is very interesting. In the lyrics, it just says, I hope you're holding on. I hope you're holding on. because every second counts. And I think the race car driver is saying these words to others who are competing against him. I hope you're holding on because you're in competition with me as I'm driving this car. And every second counts, can make the difference between victory and defeat. When this song comes to its end, and again there's a brilliant instrumental by Chris Rea. He's the writer of this song, and he's the lead guitarist, of course the lead vocalist. For the final minute or so, you can hear Chris Rea whispering, every second counts. Every second counts. He keeps repeating that phrase. And I think about it in terms of life, of a person who is committed to doing his very best. He's absolutely dedicated and focused. And he, although he's in a competition with others, he is not influenced by what the competition brings to the race. He's completely committed to outdoing himself. He's completely committed to getting the best out of what he has. And he is willing to be challenged by and compete against the impossible, shadows and wind, against the forces of nature. It tells us something about the mind and spirit of man itself. That if a man puts his mind to something, a car like the Caterham 7 is a marvel of engineering. It is reaching the human potential, extracting from human knowledge and developing from human skill what physically a human being could never achieve. But by the power of his mind, through this invention, seated in a Caterham 7, a driver is able to compete against the forces of nature and against all other such men with other machines, other sports cars, who are willing to compete against him. The urgency in that man's heart, every second counts. In life, a man is getting somewhere, every second counts. In a race, a man is getting somewhere, reaching for victory, reaching for the best he can do. Every second counts. This is what we can learn from this song. Beautiful song. I want you to listen to this. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your attention. I'll see you another time. Goodbye.